Yo, what's up, everybody? How you doing? This is your Coach Renz, and as promised, based on the video I did yesterday, today we're going to talk about giving and the truth behind giving. Now, you will hear this many different ways, and there are different aspects of giving. And at the end of this video, you're going to understand some of the differences between giving. But all in all, you're going to understand the separation between giving and gratitude. And you're also going to understand that giving is actually self-centered. I know it just threw you off for a second, but it's okay. It's okay. I'm going to reel you back. I'm going to reel you back. You're still a good person. You're still a good person. Know that. You're still a good person. But first, let me give you some gratuitous self-promotion right now. I'd like to take a moment to thank all our sponsors. For everyone on Patreon who supports this channel through your monthly donations, you are greatly appreciated. And I look forward to providing you free content as well as exclusive live video chats. You will also be able to receive discounts on products from Uncle Renz Popcorn as well as coaching from Coach Renz. This video is also sponsored by Uncle Renz Popcorn, where you can get 25 flavors of delicious gourmet popcorn, from salt and vinegar to strawberry cheesecake, from caramel and cheddar to bacon jalapeno, and many others like cookies and cream. I greatly appreciate everyone who supports us at Uncle Renz Popcorn. This channel is also supported by Coach Renz, where you can not only get all your life coaching, your relationship coaching, but also get your business coaching from Coach Renz, as we teach you how to move your hobbies into a business, not a job for yourself, but a business. We also teach you life principles of leadership and meditation. So go to CoachRenz.com and support the sponsors of this channel. All right, thank you, everybody. I appreciate you taking the time to listen to that. Now, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, I need you to give to me by subscribing to this channel. If you're a long-time listener, you haven't subscribed, then that's just wrong. But if you are new, then we talk about 360 degrees of life: your health, your wealth, your spirituality, and your relationships. Now, today we're going to talk about the spirituality, the idea of giving. First, I'm going to start on the two main ones. Well, we're going to focus on the two main ones that most people know or think about. But first, so that we lead ourselves into how we understand that giving is self-centered, we're going to go to the first part and the difference between giving and gratitude. Now, Napoleon Hill definitely coined the idea of giving useful service to the world, to the community that you're in. Giving useful service will always render you more finances, is usually what he was talking about. But it also renders to you more friends, more love, more of everything when you give useful service. But let's really look at what he's talking about and what it is, period, when it talks about giving useful service. So as the owner of Uncle Renz Popcorn, when I place my company in a location that is thriving with people who understand and adore gourmet products, who don't look at caramel popcorn and cookies and cream popcorn and ATL pop, which is caramel coated with cheese popcorn, and see that as the same equivalency of butter popcorn that you can make at home or the microwave popcorn. When they understand the difference of it, when I put it into a place like that, when I make sure that it's beautifully decorated, that it's clean, that it has great customer service, when I do all of that, I'm providing useful service to that community in the guise of having a place that you can go and get a treat, that you can take your family out for ice cream, you can take your family out for Italian ice and get other treats and get dipped Oreos and that sort of thing. So I'm providing a useful service in return for your money. Let's be real. In return for your money, I'm providing a useful service. That is what Napoleon Hill was talking about. That is often what many speakers and people like that, business leaders, talk about when they say provide useful service. If you are a lawyer, you must be a great lawyer, a good lawyer. Be the best lawyer you can possibly be. Let me put it that way. Be the best lawyer you can possibly be. Fair and consistent, and know your work, so that you can provide useful service to your client. He was talking about providing useful service in return for money, because the more useful your service is to people, then the more money you should gain. In the same way, if you can find, there's an area of town in Atlanta, there's plenty areas of town in Atlanta that are right on the borderline where Starbucks and other coffee houses say, we might make about $500,000 to $700,000 a year. No, because we need to make $1 million a year in order to put a Starbucks here. So those areas have no coffee shops whatsoever. So you can provide useful service because there's nothing there. So if you can provide something that the people don't have, you're providing useful service, and in return for that, you should be successful. That's giving useful service. That's what that is. There's a return involved. Right? Now you can also give useful service of your time, donating your time, helping, being a big brother, big sister program, volunteering at your local charities and YMCAs and churches and mosques and synagogues, and cleaning the city streets, adopting a highway program. You can provide useful service in those kinds of ways as well. But that type of giving doesn't have a monetary return. It has an emotional return, a satisfaction return of the return of I'm beneficial to the community. When I lived downtown Atlanta, there were a few homeless people that I always saw. Other homeless people in general, for the most part, if they had trash, they just throw it away. If their area became, cluttered, they just leave it uncluttered. But there is a section of homeless people who I always saw them picking up trash and throwing trash away. And, one guy in particular who was near my building all the time, he always swept the building. Another guy who was near my building, because there was a grocery store right behind my building, he would, ask people if they need help with their groceries and things like that. But he also, because he saw my kids a lot, if I ever sent them to the store, like to Publix, I would let them go to the grocery store by themselves when they got a little bit bigger. I was watching from the balcony, and I watched this guy make sure that my children were attentive to traffic in crossing the street. And he would do this over and over again. For him, no matter his situation, he provided a useful service that gave him a good feeling inside. A good feeling inside. Keeping your area clean. Seeing kids come across the street and making sure they're not his kids. Making sure they get across the street. My kid's not giving him anything, but making sure they got across the street. He provided useful service to the community. So there is that type of giving as well. But that type of giving raises your vibration. So we understand what useful service is in return for something that you exchange. Like you give useful service to your mate for an exchange of love. But here's the thing about giving. When people say I'm going to give my time, when you're giving your time, when you're helping the community, that's useful service without an exchange. But what you're getting, what you're looking for in return, the selfishness part of it, is that you're getting a good feeling, a higher vibration, an increase in the serotonins that release in your brain. That good feel. You're doing it because you're looking for that. No, there's no such thing as a selfless act. Every act has something selfish about it. It gives you something in return. So we give. I am not saying that there's anything wrong with either one of those. You should participate in both. You should give useful service in return for financial gain. You should give useful service in return for relationship. You should give useful service in return for things that make you feel good about you being you. You should do that. That's how you build yourself into being a better person. That's how you build yourself into having a happier life, is that you give to things that gives you the return that you need for whatever that moment is. Whatever that moment is. We're in the season of Thanksgiving. We're in the season of giving, the holiday season of giving. A lot of charities make a lot of money during this time frame. So let's talk about that type of giving. When we give to certain charities, we give because we just want to help out a situation that people are in. We have a heart for it, whether it's a heart for the homeless, whether it's a heart for teenage girls or pregnant girls or indigent people or handicapped or veterans or whatever it is. We give because we have a heart for those people. Oftentimes it might be because we were one of those people, or we have family or friends that were those people. There are people who they didn't give to a charity, and then all of a sudden a member of their family had ALS or could have used stem cells to get rid of their Parkinson's or help Parkinson's, but they were against it before, and now they're for it. Or they didn't care about it before, but now they're for it. So we have that type of giving, where we expect that return of love, of feeling good about ourselves. Then there's the giving where we expect a return on our finances. That's the kind of giving that throws a lot of people off. That's the kind of giving that makes people feel some kind of way. Now, the first thing I want to say about this one, of course, it delves into the religious aspect of it. You got to separate two things when it comes to giving to your religion. The first thing, when you're giving, people like to think and want to think because it makes them feel good. There's three things. That you're giving to God. You're giving to God. And that's the primary overwhelming mindset for most people, at least in the front of their brain. And that back of that brain, the back of the brain we're going to get to in a minute. Back where the real thoughts, so we're going to get to that one in a minute. But the first part is that we're giving to God's house. We're giving to God's people. We're giving to God's mission. That's the first thought that most people have. And if you have that thought, okay, great. But let's get down to the two real nitty-gritties of what your giving is really about. The first part, your giving is first and foremost actually in your brain. In your brain. This one is split into two. So I should say three, but it's split into this one I want to split into two. The first one is 1A and 1B. Most people are giving to their religious organization expecting a return. Expecting God to bless their giving, what they're giving, shake it up and make it 2, 3, 5, 10-fold. Most people are giving that way. Most people are looking, if I give, then God's going to bless me with a check. God's going to render my situation different. God's going to make my life better. Most people are giving for that format. And you won't admit that to your first part of your brain. You won't admit that in your conscious brain, but in your subconscious, that's what you're thinking. And that's what you've been taught. You've been taught that if you give, God is going to multiply your giving. But there's a reason why your giving is not being multiplied. I'm going to talk about that at the end. The second reason in the 1B that people are giving, they're giving out of gratitude. These people are giving out of gratitude because of what they've already received. Not the little check that they pissed off about that they need more from, but they're giving out of the gratitude that they have more than they need. That's what they're giving from. That's the gratitude that they're giving from. They're grateful. They're giving out of gratitude because they already see. And I'm gonna tell you at the end, the two are mixed as to why the gratitude and I'm looking for a return on my investment, a spiritual return on my investment. Giving is happening, is going on, right? And then the last giving part is that you're giving to keep the dang on lights on. Okay, the lights got to stay on. The person in some of these situations, the preacher, the priest, the whomever, the imam, they need to live too. They got to get paid. Now I think some of that is exorbitant, is all get out. Yes, I do. But you got to keep the lights on. You got to keep the place clean. You got to keep the heat, the air conditioning, all that kind of stuff. You got to do all that. Okay, you can't just, the building ain't gonna just be there and you ain't paying tax. You know, something, you got to pay something. So you got to support the place that you're going to. You're using this place, so you need to give to the place, to the building itself, to the organization itself, to create whatever things it does for you, classes that it has for you, all those sorts of things. You got to give to it. That one is like that. Last one, that's 2. But let me hit this real quick, then we're gonna be done. The problem with people, the reason why some people give looking for ROI but don't get one, but the other people are giving out of gratitude. But even in the story that Yeshua talked about, everybody came down parading all their riches, the one who already had it and they was giving, and it was a show, a display, and they already got what they want, which is man's admiration. And the lady who gave like 2 pences or 2 nickels, whatever it was, that she gave more than anybody else because she gave pure from her heart. She gave pure from her heart, not, and the teaching of that, the idea of that is that when you give, in those situations, you should just be giving because you're supporting the organization purely from your heart. You're supporting the idea purely from your heart, the mission purely from your heart. But when you give looking for that return, you're giving out of a selfishness that generally doesn't work for you, and that's why it's not working for you. Now, the people who already got it in gratitude, they're giving because they've already received it, but they already received it usually because they enacted the law of cause and effect. They enacted the law of mentalism, and they got their emotions together where they know how to go out and make that money, make the cash that's needed in order to create the money, to give useful service. They have a mindset and an emotional set that says there's a useful service, there's a need. There's a need for this restaurant, there's a need for this daycare, there's a need for a lawyer, there's a need for a coach, there's a need for whatever it is. They realized the need, and they had enough in them to go get it. I'm making money as a teacher, but I need to be a principal. I want to be a principal, so they can go back to school. They become a principal. They want to get promoted in their job. They want to have higher sales. They can go get the sales training. They become a better salesperson, and they have that. They have it in their mind and their heart to do it, to get it done, and they do. They go out and they get it done. Right? And they make it happen. And when they do, they receive more wages because they're giving useful service at a higher level than you are. The person who sits there and says, oh, I'm just going to give, and then God's just going to miraculously make it happen, that I'm going to have more money. No, you got to get your ass out there and get to work. You got to get out there and be smart. You got to get out there and be a person that has, a definite purpose that's backed by controlled emotions. You do that, and then you become that person who's giving out of gratitude. But when you don't, you're that person that's giving purely out of selfishness and just wanting something to miraculously happen, and that's why you're not getting it, and that's why you never will get it until you start putting your mind and your emotions together to be able to utilize the true law of cause and effect. That's how it works, people. That's the difference in giving. The question is where are you in your giving? Most of you are not in the giving that says that I'm going to put the law of cause and effect into action, and I'm going to put it in there right and smartly so that I can make it happen for me. When you do that, it'll happen for you. So remember, you got to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable, and I want you guys to give, but give smartly. All right? Have a great one. Love you.